Is unemployment taxable? We've answered that question before. I've got that answer coming up. But then second, are states going to help you out if it is to avoid, in my opinion, the biggest tax surprise of 2020? I've got that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Don't smash the thumbs up button about this. What, 70 million people last year drew unemployment? I mean, that's thumbs down for sure. I'm sort of using my own analysis to come up with that number. The only data that I could find said it was 40 million people had collected unemployment by June. And then we are adding about 1 million people, new people applying for unemployment every single week. The data just came out today, Thursday, the day I'm recording this. It's middle of February, and we still had 800,000 new people apply for unemployment. Guys, this system is broken. The economy, it's broken. Okay. Now, what else is broken? Is the unemployment that 70 million people, maybe more, received, is it taxable? Yeah. And guys, I'll just stand on my soapbox for a second. You received unemployment. Your business, your company's been paying into it. You receive it from the federal government and state as aid. There's no way they would tax it, right, and take some of that away from you? Yes, they would. That is crazy. That is just crazy. And yet that's how the system works. So yeah, Fed, you've got to report that income on your federal tax return. Hopefully, you withheld some taxes, but likely it wasn't even the right amount. If you had the wherewithal, if you were in panic, financial panic, you probably didn't want to withhold taxes. You needed as much of that money coming to you every single week as possible. But if you were thinking ahead and maybe had the means to say, yeah, withhold a little bit for taxes, it might not have been the right amount. So some 70 million people are going to be faced with a tax surprise. You've got to file this with your federal taxes. You've got to record this as taxable income. Now, what about the state? I mean, technically the state, it's a state unemployment system. They get all the money from the Fed anyway. It's all, back alley sort of agreements here, but it comes from the state. The states aren't going to tax this, right? Wrong. They are. And I've held out hope. I've done a video about this before, and in that video I held out hope that maybe by the time we get to tax season, states will wise up and say, you know what? We do have struggling people. We've got so many people on unemployment still. We're going to do a 1-year special sort of exemption. We're not going to tax your unemployment. Guys, it's now middle of February. If a state was going to make that declaration, they'd have done it by now. And I'm here to tell you which state has done it. Yes, unfortunately, that's right. Only one state has made that declaration, and a second state has given some consolation, maybe a consolation prize. So if you live in a state that doesn't have state tax, great. You don't have to pay state tax on your unemployment. That's wonderful. So if you live in Florida, you live in Washington, Nevada, you live in Texas, there's no state tax. So your unemployment is going to be taxed at the federal level, but no state tax. Okay. What about the rest of us, right? Out of the 50 states, I think there's, 41 of them that actually have state taxes. What about those 41 states? Some states actually say we do not, as a principle, as a law, we're not going to tax unemployment, period. But that's very few. Most of those 41 states do actually tax unemployment. And again, I was hoping some would come out and say, yeah, but not this year. Delaware did. Delaware came out this week with a big announcement and said, listen, people are hurting enough. We are not going to tax your unemployment here in Delaware. Thousands of hardworking Delawareans, I think I'm saying that right, have lost their jobs during the past year through no fault of their own, putting them in a difficult position at one of the worst possible times. We owe it to those impacted by the pandemic to take whatever action we can to ease their burden. That's what the great folks at Delaware said. I was hoping more states would say that. Unfortunately, that's not been the case. So if you live in Delaware and you collected unemployment, wonderful. You got a little reprieve. They're still going to tax it at the federal level, but not at your state. Now, right here, my office here is located really close to Notre Dame, northern Indiana, South Bend area, where we're really close to Michigan. Michigan came out yesterday with their own proclamation as well. Not nearly as good as what happened here in Delaware, but it's a consolation prize. Michigan came out yesterday and said, if you didn't withhold tax or enough tax on your unemployment, and it would cause you, that under withholding is going to cause you to pay a penalty and interest, we're going to waive that penalty and interest. We're going to waive the penalty and interest. That's something. So make sure, if that's you, if you live in Michigan, you collected unemployment and you didn't have enough withheld, and all of a sudden you're going to have penalty and interest, make sure you don't pay it. Make sure that your tax software or your CPA is aware of this and that you don't pay that interest and that penalty. But still, I mean, come on, that is a second-rate prize for sure. All of this said, I mean, this is in my opinion, at a time when we're talking about yet another stimulus bill, $1.9 trillion to bring the total stimulus close to $6 trillion, at a time we are just pulling money from everywhere and throwing it at people. I personally do struggle with why they're still taxing this money, but they are. So if you are one of the 70 million or so people that collected unemployment last year, it's taxed federally and it's likely taxed in your state. If not, or if you want to check your state below, check it out. I've got a link here below in the description. Check it out, see if it applies to you. Work with your certified financial planner who's also helping you with tax planning to make sure that you're planning accordingly. So if you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.